Hi everyone, I'm Alexia. We are so happy to welcome you here today for our avant-premiere webinar. There are lots of interesting things to share and show you today, but let's first talk a little bit about who is who. So my name is Alexia. I'm Orac's product manager from a very marketing point of view. So that means that we are a lot involved in the commercialization of our products. What images do we create? What products will we develop next? In which type of rooms or interiors do we see them? So what will happen today? We will have a general Orac update by our CEO, who is already sitting next to me, Yves Tailleux. Then I will talk a little bit more about a brand update for Orac. And then we will have also, of course, an update about our new products from our in-house designer, Orio Tonini. And then we will finish with some more interesting details about our new showroom in Ostend, our House of Personality. And now I give the word to Yves for a great story about Orac.
Thank you so much, Alexia. Happy to see everybody, and thank you for the interest in the webinar. This is a story about architectural elements. We are passionate at Orac on architectural elements, and I'm very happy to share you what brings this passion for these elements. If we go back to the roots of architectural elements, they are architectural. Archi means Latin for leading. Texture is the building. So it's elements that lead the design, the interior of a building, a house, or a home. And we make architectural elements that provide light and shadow, that give great opportunities to let colors be experienced in a different way. They add an extra dimension. They are three-dimensional elements, and they allow creative people to write stories. So what we look for is blank canvases, walls, two-dimensional, boring, white walls, on which creative people can start to write a story. They can build an emotional story on colors, they can use proportions, etc. And basically the walls start to speak. They speak the language of the room, they make the room live up. The rooms are building the house, and a house becomes a home. And this is fantastic to have this storyline, this alphabet to help creative people write stories of homes.
But Yves, can you maybe tell us a little bit more about what you mean when you say the soul, the personality of a house? How can you make walls speak?
I had a small story, it was last year, that made me very proud. And it went back, I think 4 years ago, we were in Tenerife. My son was swimming in the pool, enjoying himself, 8 years old. He met a little boy, by coincidence, Belgians, a lot of Belgians in Tenerife. Started to talk, Vadim was his name, chat a little bit what you do, what products you make. I tried to explain him architectural elements. He wasn't too sure what it was all about. But he told me I'm working with my wife on our family home, and it's the house of his parents-in-law. And he said, yeah, somehow we want to maintain some of the spirit, but we want to make it ready for the future. It has to have a different atmosphere. We really want something which is our home. And I said, yeah, cool, we have, who knows, we can do something. They worked with an architect or the interior designer, Marie-Emilie, and they started to work, to collaborate together. And I didn't see them for 3 years. Last year I was on a skiing trip. I met Vadim and Charlotte, and they were so enthusiastic of their home. They said, look, look, look. I didn't know what happened, but they showed some really cool pictures. And this is a picture in their home. They used our elements in all types of directions. They added niches. This is a niche. A lot of the pictures will be in the catalog. And they were so proud, so happy on how their home lived, how they made a new future for their home. And it made my skiing holiday. I was extremely glad to hear it. And I think that's what it's all about. It's making people happy. It's making houses into homes and allowing people to experience those good moments and to live their life in a fantastic place.
But what's exactly the story of Orac to focus so deeply on architectural elements?
A very good question. We didn't start with architectural elements. It started more than 50 years ago. A young man, my father, 24 years old, he was in 1970, started on technology. At that moment, there was a lot of technological innovations with new materials. And he started, and yeah, it's interesting to say, but he found sustainable applications to replace plaster, wood, MDF in synthetic materials. And that's how he saw that there was a massive opportunity to in the beginning, it was copying architectural elements, cornices, skirting, etc. And step by step, we saw that these architectural elements had something more. And that's where my mother came in. They started in Ostend, and step by step they made a collection. It was Orac decor. It was the art of decoration, and they built a collection of these products that could be used in interiors. And from the finishing products, we gradually saw more potential. And a big moment was a day I'll never forget, the 20th of October, 2012. It was interior exhibition in Kortrijk. For the first time, we participated. We had made the new products, the new collection, together with an interior designer, architect, product designer, interior designer, Ulf Morit, and he drew a fantastic stand. We made this stand, and the moment I arrived on the exhibition, there was a big square, lots of room. You could see the stand from a distance, and there were plenty of architects all taking pictures. Imagine Instagram existed already. They were sharing pictures. And they were really curious. They were intrigued. They were saying, yeah, but what is this? What's this product? What's happening here? And we could show what architectural elements were all about. We showed the table. The legs of the table were the profiles. They could take a sample. They could play with it. And we could say, look, we made these elements, and it's up to you to write your story. You want an eclectic restaurant. You want a cool, funky disco, or you want a Zen sauna, whatever you want, but it's up to you how you compose the product and create the story that you want to tell. And it's at that moment that we saw that we were no longer decoration finishing products, but that we became architectural elements. And we continued to develop on that. A lot of this development was done with Oreo, who you will see later in the show, and it created a strong brand. And today, I think it's another big step where we revamped the brand and we made it future digital proof. And we will show you the rebranding in a couple of minutes with Alexia.
Okay, so, but if you would have to tell us something about the big changes for the brand.
In our brand, a lot of cool stuff that we did and will do is still there. And I think Oreo and you will go into detail on that. But the most energizing new element of the brand is clearly our story for sustainability. From day one, we made sustainable products. Sustainable in the sense, no maintenance, lifetime guarantee, easy installation, lightweight, they package easy. So they were a very long, durable product. Of course, the world is changing. We see different challenges. We obviously, the climate change. We see challenges on biodiversity. And where synthetic materials were seen as the solution for everything, we see that they bring a lot of disadvantages. And I'm very proud to say that we work hard to solve or help to do our part in finding solutions for those problems. And the first one was obviously I think the climate change, CO2 emissions is a very big one. So the last 5 years we worked hard on our CO2 impact, and very proud that already 3 years as a company we are CO2 neutral. obviously we have solar panels, Slovakia, Belgium. We buy green energy. We focused a lot on saving energy, etc. But obviously that's not enough. And that's where I think the biggest challenge, but also the nicest opportunity lies. It's where we can work on the technology part of the materials. And this is, I think, one of the coolest launches we have this year, and it's one of the biggest parts of our revamped brand. It's all about the materials and how we can become a 100% biocircular company. Biocircular consists of two parts. Part of it is all the recycled materials we can use, materials that have been used as packaging or in other applications one time or multiple times, or being recycled in raw materials for our product. And on the other hand, we have bio based raw materials from organic sources. And very proud to say that we made a collection, the 3D wall panels from Duropolymer, that are 100% biocircular. So it's the first time that we can launch, I think there will be 6 products, 8 products, that will be fully biocircular. And I think it will be the start to become fully bio-based, definitely by 2050. And I am almost certain that it will be much faster. So to me, that's the biggest change, challenge of our brand. But there's so much more in the brand story. So happy to give the word back to you.
Thank you, Yves. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. So then we continue with more unexpected possibilities. So a little bit more about the brand revamp or update that we have done. So I welcome you to Orac. We lose the decor, but we gain so much more. So we say, welcome to Orac, simply more. When we talk about our brand, or here internally at Orac, we often talk about what we do, how we do it, why we do it. But maybe there was a W word that we had slightly forgotten, and that was who. Who are we as a brand, and for whom do we do it? So it's with these type of introspective questions that our brand journey began. So at the end of the journey, we discovered that as a brand, we are open-minded, audacious, pragmatic, and energetic. Now, what does that really mean then? Open-minded means that we are curious, welcoming, and sensitive, but we are also pragmatic, meaning that we are no nonsense, attentive and thoughtful, and always with the customer in mind. It's something that we really try to do in everything that we do at Orac, always put the customer first. We are also audacious. I think the sustainability information Yves gave is already a big proof of that we are daring, inventive and smart, whether it's about sustainability, but also our smart warehouse or the digital factory that we have here. And then, of course, we are energetic. I think anybody who has met us can agree on that. We are confident, we are full of life, we are enthusiasts, we are crazy passionate about Orac and about the products that we make and the people we make. Happy with that. So that is us as a brand person. But we also want to appeal to our design-loving audience, meaning that we really want to focus and also create a type of content that is pleasing to a design-loving audience, whether that's designers, architects, interior architects, but it can also be end consumers that are really passionate about design and about interiors, or, for example, deco shops that really have a passion for decoration and interior design and want to help their customers choose the right products in combination, for example, with paint, with Orac products, with other things. We believe that when we make this type of design content, we can really capture a lot of people who are interested in interior and design. So that's really for who we do it. Then a very important guiding principle in this update of our brand is to start with whiteness. Whiteness, why? Because we see every wall as a blank canvas. So walls that need to be decorated or redecorated in a home often start as a white wall. So they're a blank canvas. But our product is also white. So there's a lot of whiteness that we need to incorporate into our brand. And then the second element is when we add to a wall, we give shape, layer, and dimension. Meaning that with every Orac product, even the smallest one like PX201, which is a very small panel mold, we bring a 3D structure on the wall. We create a play of light and shadow. And that is really with every product that we sell, because we don't sell products that are 2D, for example. So we have white and we have depth. And you will see these principles or the interaction between these two things return quite a lot in the things that we will do with the brand. If all goes well, you should see a little motion video now of the two principles in practice. Then Yves already mentioned it as well. So in terms of our logo and brand name, we lose the decor, because when we as a company dare to say that we transform interiors and that we see every wall as a blank canvas, I think it's clear that we are more than just the producer of decorative accessories, because we want to be a storyteller, a visual artist. We want to help interior designers and deco shops. So I think we surpass the decorative element quite a bit, which is why it only seems like a logical step to lose the decor and just go as Orac. Some now I will guide you through some principles that we also use as guidelines for the brand. So every wall is a blank canvas. We've already mentioned that, meaning that where others see a flat surface, we see a world of possibilities. So this wall for us is really like a neutral support, asking for an intervention, asking to be someone's project, really asking for something more. Then we transform interiors. So here you will see a before and after of our new showroom, where we really add to the wall. So it means that when we say transform, it means that we really profoundly change the aspect and the look of an interior together with interior designers and architects. Unexpected possibilities. There are so many things that you can do with our architectural elements, with our products. There are so many interiors that can be developed with them differently. It's really for our clients to find out what they would like and how they would like their interior to look like. Then finally, we have found the correct name for our product. So at Orac, we make architectural elements made for walls. All of them are based on the Orac recipe. It hasn't changed since 1970, so it's with an ease of installation. It's ready to carry any color, as our products are white. They are ready to be painted and are also repaintable. And it's made with lasting materials. So that is also the big part Yves mentioned. From the start, we have always been very interested in durability and sustainability. Then what I will show now are a few examples of how this newfound brand identity or update of the brand already translate into some of our marketing tools, but for example, the catalog as well. So there you also see it, that there's a lot more white space. We really leave space for whiteness. And then the images do more of the talking. So the depth, really the second part of the design principle, is really in the size of the images, the type of the images, the colors that we use, the closeness of the images. So you can really feel that design principle in the catalog as well. We use a lot more white for product categories as well. The renders, we have also changed them. So it's all kinds of small changes that make big difference. On social media as well, you will gradually start to see that we will change the way we post, that we will make slight changes in the topics that we choose, in the way we tell these topics. So it's also there, making room for sometimes really a less is more approach, like only showing the Orac logo, for example, as a small motion video of that. But also when we show projects or inspiration things, that we also show the person, the people behind that, to really tell so much more than just the product, but tell a story, because it's always about people that are involved. And then, for example, the last one is also making really images speak by making them more close up, by choosing warm, rich colors that really translate this kind of depth feeling that you get from our products. Also in our really our marketing tools, or the way that we present products or packages to people. So on our novelty box, you will also see that we will now work with an embossed Orac logo, or for example, sample packaging will change a little bit. We will change the type of silk paper that we use and make it more branded. There will be a nice little sticker where also the Orac logo is embossed. So it are all quite small changes, and really very subtle changes. And if it looks too subtle to you, don't worry, it's exactly what it should be, because what we are doing now with the Orac brand, it's not a rebranding, it's an update of our brand. So every 3 years, when we develop a new catalog, we take the time to really be more introspective, to question ourselves as a brand. And each time we can focus a little bit more on who we really are, where we want to go, what the core of Orac is. So it's all really just a natural evolution. When I say that we want to be a storytelling brand, I think there is no one better who can tell the stories of our products better than our in-house designer, Mr. Orio Tonini. So he will join us now. Hi, Orio. Hi. So he will join us now to tell you the complete 3D wall covering story and how it actually came about.
Hi, everybody. Hi,
Hi.
Alexia. Thanks a lot. And thanks for being almost here behind the screens. Very happy to be here to be able to present you all the new products and to explain a little bit what's the idea and the concept behind the all 3D wall covering story. I started collaborating with Orac something like 12 years ago. We started in 2012 with a stand for Ulf Moritz that I was taking care of. And that was the first time I was approaching Orac Decor at that time, and as a company, as a client, and coming from architectural education, it was kind of intriguing, but also difficult for me to understand in a way how to treat so decorative products in a more architectural way and point of view. So as you've seen before, the idea behind the Ostend was to forget what the products were by themselves and just to integrate them, make them almost disappear, to create the most spectacular stand, the most spectacular ambient as that was possible to do. In 2016, I started really collaborating deeply together with Orac, and that's when we did the first collection, that was the modern collection. So again, it was a big step and a big question mark. How can I create a modern collection for a company that has always been doing profiles, elements, products that were classical orientated, and they were very decorative. In that moment, I started creating groups of products. For me, they were not reality products. They were more tools for architects, tools for designers, tools that I would like to have by myself when I was doing my interior projects. And then the way of approaching the products was changing. It was changing so much that 2 years later, in 2018, we started with the first product. It was the first 3D panel. These, you might all know it. It's the old baby, the zigzag. And it was really something completely new. It was using as much as possible the technology possibilities of Orac, but we were not anymore doing skirting, a cornice. We were doing almost a flat product, but very three-dimensional, very simple as a design, It was only a sequence of zigzag element as its name, but it worked very well. It worked very well because in a way, in a lot of application, also in the pictures that you see, it's almost disappearing. It's you don't notice it as a product itself, but it's creating a very vibrant and special effect on the wall, in the room, in the space that you are in and that you are living in. Next to that, we decided that it was maybe time to start thinking of also the other possibilities with the 3D panels. And we started with the first linears, what we were calling the first new designs. And we started also looking for all the different directions we could go. So we started with the valley, the hill, and the bar. The valley was more directed to the classic environment. The hill was an in-between, very soft, very smooth, very smoothly reacting to light and shadow. And the bar was a very easy, understandable product that could be associated to any interior, very easy to understand, very easy to use. We worked on that, and well, it was very well working, so we decided, well, let's go for it. And starting from that point, the Orac started asking the very difficult question. And so now you as an architect, transfer the 3D wall covering to a classic version. And okay, it worked. We made the attoire. And the base of the attoire were two big panels, the 50 by 50 and the 150 by 50, with which you could decorate parts of the wall, or you could completely cover the whole wall, so to have a 100% wall covered with a very dramatic and very classical atmosphere. We had two more things that went on during time. And the first thing is that we investigated more decorative products. It was a geometric decoration. So we launched the slope. It's very decorative. It can be used in a very spectacular, almost an art piece, like you can see in the middle picture. But on the other hand, it's just a very subtle, vibrant surface, a little bit like the zigzag, but in a very different way, that, as you can see in the right image. This was the first step we did into going more in the decorative field, going back in a way into the decorative field as it was before. And then even more, we started working with surfaces. So we adding one extra layer to our products. So the 3D wall was not anymore only about the shape and the geometry on the 3D level, but it was also applying an extra 3D layer, very small and fine, to create very deep and strong light and shadow effect on each element of the decoration. And in this case, we had the ridge and the cobble. Of course, the cobble is more evident. If you compare cobble with zigzag, it's completely different words. But in a way, it's still in the idea of giving you the freedom to use it for the whole wall, as you can see on the ridge, in this case in the picture, but also to use it in partial parts, as you can see a little bit on the right image, with a cobble even used on the top part and on the bottom. So it's really a flexible way of using the products. As I said, the idea was not just to create single elements, single products. The idea was always to give a set of tools with which you could finish immediately your room, your walls, from floor to ceiling. So, for example, when we worked on the attoire, of course, there were the W120 and W121, the two basic panels, but immediately we wanted to provide to designers more chances, more freedom. So we added the inserts to become more decorative, but we added perfectly fitting the light, indirect light profile, the cornice, and the skirtings. In this way, you immediately have a set of products that are always fitting together. It's very easy to combine, and whatever is the rhythm and whatever is the composition that you want to apply on the wall, they will always fit nicely together. That idea, of course, we have it almost in all the groups. So, for example, when you think about the bar, this is a very simple product, but already in the beginning, the idea was that the dimension of the element that is composing the bar is exactly the same of the CX190, the U profile. And in that way, this is the perfect accessory for the panel, because you can use it to close it at the end. You can use it to close the top part if you are doing a wainscoting or a boiserie or whatever paneling. And you can use it also because it's perfectly fitting again as a skirting. Next to this, of course, we developed other products, other 3D panels that were combining, and that is the bar XL, that is the double, or the bar mix, that is a mix of the bar normal and the XL. Next to all these, we still have also all the U steps that you can see on the top part, where you have a cornice, another skirting, and another light fixture, a light profile, that are perfectly combined because, again, they are based on the U profile elements, on the U profile size. So the groups and the set of products are very important. A little bit very similar, but a little bit different is the story of the Valley. The Valley is more classical. So next to the original Valley, you have the Valley XL, very similar to the concept of the bar XL. And then in this case, we went a little bit more decorative through the years. So we created the Valley Loop. The Valley Loop is not something that you really mix together, but it's something that is perfectly implementing the set of Valley and Valley XL. And because of this a little more classic look, we created at that time also the ribbon, a very small profile with a round edge that it's implementing. It's easily usable in between two levels of Valley. And at the same time, it's also very helpful because you can, thanks to the ribbon, you can use it in combination with the skirtings, the existing skirtings of the old collection of Orac, and it's perfectly implementing, so it's finishing it in the perfect way. Same story is for the cornice, that it was very easy to find something in the original collection, because classic we were very rich. That we have a lot. So if you think of the first linear collection, we had the Valley, we had the bar, and we had the heel. So the heel was still a little bit the lonely brother. And this year we started with implementing the group and the family of the heel, and we did it in two directions. The first direction that the first new product that we are having is what we call the heel trace. The heel trace is a panel that is based on exactly on the same rhythm, on the same bump, on the same measures of the heel. The only thing we added is this sort of S decorative element. It's a pattern or a repeat of 25 centimeter. That means that you, on each panel of 2 meter, you have 8 times the same pattern. But it's constructed and built up in a way that with just one panel, you will be able, as you can see in this slide, to have at least 4 different compositions. These 4 compositions, they are just possible to obtain with sliding the panels one after the other, or inverting and turning them of 180 degrees. They look maybe very similar to each other, but when you start having a big wall and you look at the difference, it's incredible, mainly how the light is changing. When you have, for example, like on the right one, you have this very symmetrical pattern on the wall, or on the second one, you have this sort of running behind each other, and it's very continuous and it's very fluid. The second heel family, so we have a group of 2 new products. It's called the heel bead. This is a little bit a new concept also in the way of treating the design and the pattern on the 3D panels. We are having new format, but basically this is the first time where The design is not really continuous in all the direction of the panel. So if you see on the bottom part and on the top part, the design is getting closed, but you will still be able to put them in a sequence, one next to the other, also because on the corner at the end, it's not going straight, it's not making a corner, but it's creating a sort of shadow line thanks to a small curve that, as you can see in the picture on the right, you will have always these very marked, very fine and very subtle start end of the new panel. We have two formats. The two formats is, one is the 40 centimeter width by 2 meter length, and that you can see in the top part of the image. And then we have a new format that is 80 by 50 that will be very easy and very handy to use for doing wainscoting in the lower part of your wall. All these products are, as you can see here, it's giving a very delicate effect on. You can end it with a small profile, but you can even let it finish very smoothly in the wall. And as for the heel and for the valley, we are suggesting here to use the ribbon a lot, and also to use skirtings like the 138, because they are perfectly fitting and it's giving a very easy and logical continuity in the wall. So going back to what was the geometric direction and the geometric decoration of the wall, next to the slope, we introduced two other new products this year, and we call them the pillow and the kilt. These two products are, of course, very similar to each other. It's very big, very different from what we always had before. Usually the patterns, the definition is very small, is very detailed. This one is the basic element of the pattern is a quite big element, is 25 centimeter by 5 centimeter, but it's quite rectangular, but it's so soft, so delicate that you really want to touch it. And when it starts, as you can see in the image, when you start painting it, it's catching so much softness in the light and shadow. It's really beautiful. And basically, we have one version where all the elements of the pattern are straight next to each other, and another version where they are checkered. It's element sequences of 5 by 5, as you can see complete in the image. And of course, they are perfectly self-standing. You can do the wall by themselves, but you can easily combine them. They are 100% compatible, and it's really giving such a soft and delicate atmosphere to the room. It's a pleasure. You will see that later in the big pictures that Alexia will show you. It's really nice. And here, of course, when we talk about these geometric families, we have a little bit to split the kind of accessories. So the slope is a little bit more geometric. So it will be associated much more with the square, with the U profile, with the U steps, and these kind of products, that they are all fitting perfectly because all the measures or the depths of the panel and so on are all matching. And for the kilt, it's really nice, the combination with the ribbon. And we discovered that the cascade, that it was already in the collection, it's looking like it was meant to be done for working together with this panel. They have the same round. As you can see it slightly in the picture, I guess, and it's really made for it. Yeah. It was really a perfect surprise. Sometimes we are also lucky. So the last but not least, we have the corrugated surfaces. So the structured surfaces, the most expressive group of products. Of course, you probably all know Ridge and Cobble. And this year we added a little bit a very extreme new product. It's called the Matrix. It's when you look at it in the details, it looks a little bit crazy thing. It's very articulated. It has been very complicated either in designing the pattern and in realizing and producing it. But we succeeded. Basically, it's working with very small elements, all different from each other. We have 4 different depth of the elements. We have 4 different structures on the surface. So they are transversal, they are longitudinal, they are rounded, and they are sharp. All these, in reality, it's very evident if you look from 10 centimeter. But when you start taking distance, that you might have now in the video, I guess, the only thing you see is that it's constantly changing the way that the surfaces, the different depths are catching the light and the shadows. So basically, from close by, it's a very strong product, but when you look from distance, it's just something very subtle that is happening on the wall, and that it's making it interesting, but it's absolutely not too strong, not too, it's maybe a brutalist product, but it's absolutely not brutal. It's very, at the end, it's very silent. And what I like, we started at the beginning with a zigzag, that it's very simple, it's very silent, it almost disappears in a lot of the applications. And somehow I think that this one, it's completely different in the way it's been designed, it's been conceived, it's done, but the result at the end will probably be very, very similar to what we have from the beginning with the zigzag. So I'm very curious of how it's going to be used. Of course, again, here also for all the structure, there is the compatibility with the square and with the U profile. Also, this one, of course, it's smaller than the depth of the U profile. So also here you are free to combine with everything that is already available, and it will be more than usable. And this was my very complicated end of the story.
So that was Oreo's part for the Pure Touch part of the collection. We have also, of course, added something new on the duropolymer side. So there we also have 2 new panels, which are more rounded. So of course, last year we added Ripple and Track as duropolymer panels. They were received very well, so it was only logical now that we wanted to add something rounded also to this universe. So we have one panel with small rounded bumps, and then we have one where they alternate. But the really surprising thing about these panels also is that they have a papa-mama joint, which makes them really slot into each other and make a natural joint. So you don't have to finish that anymore. So it becomes easier actually to join the panels together. And of course, it's great that for everything that you see now on the screen for the duropolymer 3D wall covering panels, that we can say that they are 100% biocircular. We are really proud of that and happy to share that with you. So if you have anything to say, again, I can only encourage you to share in the chat what you think of it, what you think of the products, what you think of the direction we are taking with the brand. Please don't hesitate to share. It's really great for us to read that. Short overview again of all of the products together, which are new, which are not, and how they really fit together into the collection, really the entire story of me and Oreo in one single slide. Very hard to do, but we managed to do it. So now is also the moment that I can already tell you to now pre-order your early bird sample box. So of all the products you have seen now, the samples Oreo and I have shown, we have gathered these in the novelty box. So you can order it for free using the QR code that you see now on the screen. Or on the link that will pop up on your screen now. It's just important that you use the voucher code Novelties 2024. That way you can order it for free. The delivery will also be for free, and all profiles that you have seen now are included in the package. And that is also what I described before, already in the world of the new Orac brand, so with a very nice embossed big logo on there. When we talk about the revamp of our brand and really that update as a brand who questions itself but also wants to be a bit of a trendsetter, it's important that we follow trends and know what trends are. So maybe as a takeaway from our visit to the Salone del Mobile last year, we had three very big takeaways. And the first one that we also try to incorporate in what we are trying to do with the Orac brand. So one of the first things is that a brand is more than a product. So it's about an experience. It's about the stories that you tell. It's about the behind the scene things that you want to share. Of course, it's also about the products that you make, but you can do so much more with them. Then, of course, we also saw that there was a very big interaction between 3D wall covering and color. So it's clear for us the direction we are going in terms of product development. And then we also saw a very big trend in the visualization, the communication about the efforts you do in terms of sustainability. So that is also something that we really want to incorporate everywhere with the brand and everything that we do. But also especially, and I'm jumping now to our House of Personality, because for you who have already visited us in Ostend, you know that that is our in-house showroom. And for us, it's really like our own little playground where we can play with trends, with product settings, with all kinds of new things that we want to try. Also, for example, how will we show sustainability? How will we talk about that? So we also always want to incorporate things like these into that very powerful tool for us. But also here, as we said, I started the brand update with very personal things like for who do we do it and who are we as a brand. So also for the House of Personality, we took the same starting point, let's make it personal, because now sometimes for us it was just a little bit different moments, launching moments of Orac grouped together. So a lot of different rooms, but not really a real story, or it got lost on the way. So here we tried to make a new, to start from a new point and to make it more personal. So what did we do? By crossing the axis between modern and classic and timeless and trendy, we achieve four quadrants that are personalities, moods, vibes, whatever you want to call them, but just like four very different universes that really show different things. So let's have a look. So that's for the first universe. It's really, if you want to associate a city with these vibes, I would say it's maybe Barcelona. It's really about people who have a desire for innovation, who are outgoing and conversational, who are AI enthusiasts, who are art lovers, city trippers. And you also see that in that vibe, it's really about the interaction between white and then very strong primary colors. It's about a daring aesthetic, eclectic taste. To develop the rooms, we have also chosen colors from the French paint brand Argile that work very well together in the rooms. So the primary colors, we really have them there. In this room, it's, for example, people who also really like Un Buller van Severen or are fond of Kelly Wearstler, who really like things like that. They will find themselves in this room. It's also being the House of Personality and the personalities that we have created in the rooms. We can also use them as a tool for us to develop products, to decide how do we want to style it, what direction do we want to go. So also as a product development tool, thinking in terms of personalities becomes interesting to develop products, because then you can develop products that are fitting to that aesthetic. And for example, our new pillow and quilt are really products that fit in that vibe and really support it. So the House of Personality reads a little bit like a magazine, which is also the case for the catalog. So we gave these rooms more editorial names that are a little bit more evocative. But here you see it's a concept that is called About Today. Here you really see the visualization of how we see that personality, but also the Orac products that fit with it, without it being sort of strict or rigid. So everything is very fluent there. There are no for the four quadrants, it's not that we say that product is only this or that product is only that. The same thing with you as our customers. We hope that you will find yourself in at least one of the quadrants, hopefully more, but it's just us trying to guide you through our interior settings and the products that we have so that you can find something that fits your style and your preference. So this was the first one. Then the second one is a lot more subdued modern, actually. If I would have to associate a city there, I would say Berlin or Copenhagen. It's really that progressive spirit with attention to detail. So modern and refined, really Scandinavian vibes, urban explorers. Then in terms of interior style, there's also, again, these four moods, vibes, personalities, whatever you want to call them. They also become an easy way to make it layered, because if you say, okay, something is modern and something is timeless, it's a very wide span of styles, because you can say, okay, I'm talking about Art Deco, or I'm talking about Bauhaus, or I'm talking about really sleek modernism with nearly nothing. Still, we can add to a wall with Orac products, and we have products that can fit any of these sub-styles. So it's really about their geometric elements, linear details, minimalism in a way. It's really still elegant, and then also maybe something brutalist. So for us, for example, in our collection, it became clear, yeah, maybe we missed something in this kind of deconstructed brutalist vibe, and that's how our Matrix product really came to life. So it's also very fitting in that atmosphere. So there you see a little bit of what the room in our House of Personality looks like. There's a room for all products. The colors are quite neutral, but it's also with interesting burgundy details that really give it quite enough punch. Then the third one is really classic and trendy. So if I would have to talk about cities there, I would really go more towards the country of Oreo, Italy, Venice, Rome, Florence. It's really this fusion of old and new, very sophisticated, very global in a sense, luxurious comfort. It's really a sort of kind of opulent vibe that we want to go for here. It's really, yeah, what you see on the screen in terms of interior design, it's like the sexy classics. So really something frivolous that peppers and that really makes that really gives elegance with a twist. It's a bit of a Pierre Jovanovic vibe or Anne-Sophie Payret, Sarah Lavoine, the Gooby vibes, but also the Gucci vibes. So a lot of these things together. You also see it in the type of products or new products that we associate there. So it's really our hill extended family that we have there, the trace, and then the two beads that really give interesting add-ons to that style, but also our extruded 3D wall covering with its rounded shapes, and the fact that we have small rounded shapes and then big and small rounded shapes. So really that interaction between the products makes it very, very interesting. You also see it in the color palette that we have chosen for this room or this vibe. It's very, very warm, but very vivid colors that are really strong and highlight the roundedness of the products and the light and shadow they create on the wall. And then for our last quadrant, there we have something really classic and timeless. So there, the cities that I would associate with that are Paris or London. It's really for the family-oriented, dependable people who love to take long walks, who have a worldly perspective, who are have affinity with history, with architecture, really some good old classy vibes we have here. Then in terms of interior design, it's really strong classics there. So it's things that never go out of style, that are always beautiful, but that really work with this timeless elegance. It can seem a bit more formal and warm, but basically it's just a lot of sophistication and refinement. And there you really see in this type of interior that the importance of proportions. All the elements are put on a wall in such a way that it shows balance in the wall frames and in the paneling. So you see, it's in a sense really traditional, but very much of today, because there we can play more with different color use. So we have, for example, a contrasting color for the bottom part of the wall and the cornice, and then a darker color in between. You also see that for us it becomes a very powerful way to show our deco elements. It's maybe a collection or a category that is a little bit forgotten. So here we can really showcase these products as well and give them the attention they deserve. So the last layer we still need to add, but of course we hope that by the time you visit us in Ostend, that will all be there. It's a sort of informative layer that will go over the House of Personality. So because we also want to, in the beginning, make an introduction about what is the history of Orac? What have we done since the 1970s up until now? Very interesting to visualize that and to share with our visitors. Then in the introduction room, we want to share more with you about how our products are made, what are the materials that we use, what is a mold exactly, how does that production process work, things like that. Then, of course, in all of the rooms, we will share more deep the vibes, the personalities of each of the rooms. And then at the end, there will be a sort of recap room where you can revisit every one of the rooms you have seen, take samples home, scan QR codes to really make a visit to the House of Personality an experience. So I cannot stress it more than to just invite you to come here and experience it in real life. So once again, as we are coming to the end of this presentation, I would once again like to urge you to order your early bird sample box, scan the QR code, or click the link that will appear on the screen and use the voucher code Novelties 2024. And then I can only close with saying thank you so much for being here, for listening to us, and we were very happy to share these things with you. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.